the suburb. It's living on that blurred line between being surrounded by crickets and trees, but drive a few minutes and they turn into buildings and jeeps. Along this blurred line, we also live on the edge, literally, because we live right beside the sea, which I think is pretty cool. So I've practically lived in the suburbs my entire life, and I've had mixed feelings about it growing up, from being hella bored and seeing stories of city kids or Manila kids partying, to sometimes just soaking in the calm and peace and hanging out with friends in the same places over and over again. It's repetitive, sure, but I think it's pretty chill too. So I'm 17, and since I've been here for all 17 years of my life, I really don't have much perspective comparing life here to living in the city or wherever else. But as an insight of what it's like growing up here, I made this kind of like a local bucket list of what one could do here. To start off, and to be honest, I mostly just stay in the house. But you could also go beach shopping. An old friend of ours from the city came back to visit and suggested we go to the beach. I'm not sure why, but we just completely forgot to consider that there was practically a typhoon, and so we ended up having to leave pretty early. Go to church on Sundays. You grab donuts and coffee at one of the cafes, walk your dog, and enjoy nature. Be stupid and swim in the pool while lightning goes off.
We didn't need to!
That's fine,
But for real though, as a disclaimer, do not do this. I didn't know how dangerous it actually was till I searched it up on Google afterwards. So go swimming, just don't do it when there's lightning. Now moving on to a much safer activity. You could go drive through McDonald's.
Yeah, and then
Hang out at a friend's house. So good.
Oh, yeah, that's it. 3, 2, 1, go! Beware!
She's doing the vlog.
I don't have much to say for this, except that it was just as fun as it looks, and maybe even more. I feel like these moments are the ones you look back at nostalgically a few years from now. So I'm grateful for it all. So as you can see, the list is very diverse. Too often in high school though, I kind of found myself in this love-hate relationship with where I live. Because I've always wanted to live in the city and live that romanticized city life you see all over social media. But then the pandemic hit and suddenly I was also grateful for living and being here. Looking back though, I truly wouldn't have wanted to spend these 17 years anywhere else, because you know, it's here where I made all the genuine friendships that lasted for years and all that stuff. But also the nights where we just stayed outside and talked about the most arbitrary topics. Just talking to your friends under the stars and the moonlight with yellow street lights surrounding you. That's just like irreplaceable for my young heart. So call it boring if you want, but having the clean air, the most sublime sunsets, and the clear night sky, as basic as it is, as the backdrop of my coming of age series, it's pretty cool.